how are we today? Obviously, finally, I am back to the channel. Gonna actually run through some analysis.
How are we getting on, people? Luke here from LAGFX. We're back today with another Sunday Sessions video. If you're new to this series, it's basically where we go over the markets and we highlight and distinguish zones and areas that you guys can use to profit in the coming week. What I'm going to do is go over a few pairs that I believe hold good potential for this coming week and give you those zones and areas so you guys can go and apply them to your own charts, wait for the right confirmation in order to enter, and look to place some positions this coming week. If you do go on to enjoy the video, don't forget to leave it a thumbs up. All the support you guys provide is very much appreciated. And if you have any questions or queries regarding the analysis today, please leave some comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight into today's Sunday Sessions video. So you'll see on screen here that we have the NZD CAD. This is the first pair that I will be analysing for you all today. As you can see, we have recently been delivered with a break of structure to the upside after having clear bearish structure being introduced on this 1 hour time frame. What I've done is I've highlighted this last buy to sell region as an area and price where I want to see price come back up to, clear any remaining supply from this area before trading goes lower longer term. So what we've seen here is price put in an impulsive wave, trading goes lower. What I believe we're going to see now is price put in a correction, trading goes back up and into this supply zone, and that should in theory go on to set a new impulsive wave taking us lower, breaking these previous lows here. Now, as I say, why do I feel price is going to trade us higher now moving forward? That is because we have been delivered with this break of structure here. So this break of structure basically represents an end to the current trend and the start of a new one. Now, the reason why this is a valid break of structure is because the high that we have highlighted went on to set the lowest low. Now, this is looking at the fractal nature of this 1 hour time frame. So because we've seen price surpass this protected high, because as we know, in bearish structure, the highs are protected and the lows are broken. Because we have seen a break in this protected high, that tells us that price is no longer respecting areas of supply and is now respecting areas of demand. What we have seen is price pull back, trading into a valid demand zone, a valid area and price where demand has been introduced. That has then created a new wave, taking price and surpassing price higher than this zone here. Now what we want to see is price pull back again, tapping into another fractal demand zone before trading goes up and into this supply zone here, where we'll be looking to go short. So this coming week, I am looking to invest in this market and I want to be buying into this market. I don't want to be looking for any short positions. I want to be buying into this market. So what I'm going to do for you all now is highlight this as an area to get involved in those buy positions from. And we can mark out this as an area to take profit and also look to go short in this market. So if you haven't done already, pause the video, highlight this as an area to go short from and an area to take profit on any buy positions. And then again, if you want to highlight this zone out as well, the increments are on the right hand side here. So this is how large this the demand zone is that I'm looking to potentially buy from. Okay, so now moving over to the XAU USD market. Again, very similar situation. We are within a bullish phase. I'm wanting to see price trade us up and into this supply zone here, where I'm then expecting supply to be introduced. That should flip the supply and demand balance, and we should see price go on to trade us lower, breaking previous lows and creating new ones. This is a bearish market overall on the higher time frame structure. We are simply just within a corrective phase. As you can see, I have highlighted multiple demand zones that price has respected and gone on to trade price higher. All we have done here is mark out another demand zone that we expect price to reverse from. We have seen price actually penetrate and sweep this zone, and we have seen the introduction of new bullish structure. However, I do feel price may come back down just to clear any remaining inefficient structure laying below before taking us higher into this market. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to as low as the 1 minute time frame. I'm going to zoom right in and we're going to see if we can find any unmitigated candles that may be left over that price is trailing back into. So here, in fact, if I just move this to the left, we can see that we do have an unmitigated last sell to buy region. So I'm going to highlight this as an area to potentially go long from. We just drag this across. We can see that price is nicely approaching. And if I just highlight this out as an area for you all to potentially look to buy from, the increments here are on the right hand side, but I'm going to also label it as well for you all, just so you can see those increments a bit more clearly. Okay, so you can see here, this is the area and price I am looking to go long from. This is just from highlighting a valid demand zone, a valid area and price that we can expect demand to be introduced into this market, and then that should in theory push price higher. So that is an area that I will be looking to trade from this week. As a take profit target, if we just zoom back out, pull price down, we can see here that this is the area I'm wanting to go short from. So I'm expecting demand to be introduced here. That should push price higher. We can obviously expect price to do this multiple times. So putting in impulsive waves, corrective waves, impulsive wave, corrective wave, continue trading us up and into this supply zone. From here, I will be then looking to go short. So I'll be closing those buy positions and then looking to trade this market lower as a longer term thing. And I'm expecting price to surpass lows around 1932. So again, pause the video, highlight this as a potential area to sell from, as this is somewhere we'll definitely be looking to get involved from. And it also gives us an area to take profit on those buy positions that we are placing in the coming week. Okay, now moving over to the Great British Pound to the US dollar. This was a market that I went over in last Sunday session's video, and I told everyone that I wanted to see price trade us up and into this supply zone here. We have been delivered with that bullish structure. So anyone who got involved in any buy positions last week due to this analysis, well done. You will have profited nicely. I think this swing came to be about, just shy of 200 pips. So if you had a nice refined entry there, maybe a 20 pip stop loss, you're looking at a 1 to 10 risk reward ratio. So that's 10% if you're risking 1, 20% if you're risking 2%. So well done to anyone who got involved in those buy positions. What we want to see now is supply being introduced. We've had good volume trading us into this zone. We want to see now this supply and demand balance flip, supply to be introduced into this market and break structure to the downside. That would tell us that this bullish correction trading us up and into this supply zone has now concluded, finished, and we can expect a new leg trading us lower to take place. Now, in order for us to get confirmation to enter, we obviously want to have as much probability of being successful in any positions that we do place. So what I will be waiting for is for price to actually break this protected low within this bullish structure. Once that happens, that tells us that this bullish correction has, as I say, finished, and that we are expecting price to then trade us lower in this market. So if I just draw a path out, you can see here how I want price to come down, break structure, breaking this protected low. Price will then come back up to grab any remaining supply that may have been left over from the initial impulsive wave that broke the structure, and then we can expect price to trade us lower in this market. Now, I have set, and I will be setting my take profit just above this protected low here, as that almost guarantees that our take profit is more than achievable. As we know, this is a bearish market, and in bearish structure, we have the production of lower highs and lower lows. So with that being said, the highs are protected and the lows aren't, and they break every time. So we can expect this low to break and for price to trade lower. So by setting our take profit just above, as I say, that guarantees that our take profit is more than achievable. But that is my setup for Great British Pound to the US dollar. There's not really much in it. It's literally just an unmitigated last buy to sell region here on the 4 hour timeframes. We have some inefficient structure here that needed to be cleared. Now we've had the introduction of supply, we can expect price to trade us lower in this market, continuing to trade us in a bearish way. Okay, now quickly highlighting Euro USD. This is another market that we analysed last week. I told everyone that I wanted to see bullishness being introduced into this market. We've had that. Brilliant. What I've done is I've highlighted a potential re-entry zone for anyone who may have missed the opportunity to get involved in those buy positions. So again, pause this video, mark this out for yourself. I think it's on the 30-minute time frames. Yep, so you can see here this last sell to buy region. We want to see price come down to trade into this, more demand to be introduced, and then that to push price higher and into this market. Now, as a take profit target, we have this as our take profit target, as this is a valid supply zone. As you can see, I'm highlighting this last buy to sell region. We have inefficient structure below. Price needs to come up to clear any inefficiency, as well as taking all of that supply and trading price lower. This is a bearish market overall, which obviously gives us more probability of being successful when we are looking to sell into this market as a longevity thing. But there is no harm in looking to buy into this market temporarily, as price is in fact within a corrective wave. Now, the analysis on this pair is very brief, but again, there is not very much to go through. Just highlight the zones that I have given, wait for price to tap and penetrate these zones, wait for the confirmation in order to enter via a fractal break of structure to the up or downside, and then get yourself involved in these markets. Ensure that your stop loss is set under any protected lows. or above any protected highs. And make sure that your take profit targets are more than achievable, so setting them just shy of these higher time frame supply or demand zones, as this will ensure that our take profit can be achieved every single time. Okay, so that is going to summarize my segment of this Sunday sessions video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. As I said to you earlier, if you have any questions or queries regarding the analysis I've gone through, please leave them in the comments below. And if you aren't involved in the VIP services or our Learning Lounge group chat, go to the links in the description and get yourself involved. Now, what I'm going to do is pass you over to James. James is with us today and he is going to provide us with some analysis on Euro US dollar. So I hope you guys enjoy and I'll pass you over now.
Hey everybody, how are we today? Obviously, finally, I'm back to the channel. Gonna actually run through some analysis. Now, I may be a little bit out of whack, so obviously bear with me. I'm gonna try my best, obviously, to provide the similar style of analysis that I did a few months back. Obviously, most of you who have followed for a while will know that I have been pursuing other opportunities to help excel LAGFX and sort of excel my pathway in life. Nonetheless, I'm here on the euro to US dollar. Shock. It's always been my favorite pair to analyze. So I'll run through this in a top-down manner. So the same way I would in the past, starting on a 3-month and then slowly working down. So to anybody who's not sure what a top-down is, I hope you are if you're watching this video, but it's basically where we analyze a market from the higher time frames and slowly bump it down to the lower time frames, to really paint ourselves a picture and a story of what's going on in the market. And then we're giving ourselves all the knowledge we need to make a rational prediction moving forward. So starting here on the 3-month, obviously the first thing we're going to do is identify the structure in the market. So we know we've obviously had bullishness from, just viewing this straight away. We've had an impulsive wave, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. And we're now currently within a correctional wave. So obviously, knowing now that we are within bullishness, we know that this is the most recent impulse. And then as we look inside of that, we can quite clearly tell we have an obvious sell to buy region down in the market at this point that we would like to see price come and mitigate before seeing a reversal, before seeing price then take off to continue bullishness. Now, obviously, as of right now, we see that price hasn't mitigated it. So that would suggest to me that price still does need to come further down to hit into this zone before we can class it as a full mitigation, before we can be confident that this overall predominant bullishness will continue. So under that assumption, we can say that within this correctional wave, obviously we know the correctional wave is coming back down. For price to move down, there needs to be bearishness. So we know that within this bearishness here, we want to see the continuation of that trend until we eventually come and tap into this zone. So I'm going to go a little bit lower on the timeframes just to view what's going on here. If we get a brush, again, we can identify the structure to decide what's going on. So impulse, correction, impulse, correction. Now this entire move acts as an impulse. Correction, and then we have this entire impulse lower. So looking inside of this, we're working within this region here as an impulse. So if we actually zoom in and focus on that, we can obviously see that, right, we've already seen the mitigation of this zone right here, which is quite obvious where we've come in, we've had a distribution, price has moved onward. So we know that price shouldn't really exceed this point. Now, if we go lower again, so we identify structure inside of this, we can say, right, well, where are some valid zones that we could see price actually mitigating before continuing? So first things first, I know from past analysis and even just seeing it straight off, there's clear market inefficiency in this region where we have a high volume candle that's pushed down. We've not had price return into that region, which is suggesting to me there was high volume in that region, high institutional activity. And is also an indication that there's likely unmitigated positions left that price would want to come back up to. So there's going to be a really small zone up in this region, which we can identify as a supply zone, spot on, yeah, just like that. As we then follow price down, everything's been mitigated. Okay, we potentially have something inside of here. Slightly debatable. I don't think price has quite fully tapped that. No, that is unmitigated. And then finally, looking at this from here, it does appear as if this could potentially be an unmitigated zone. Now, I'm even going to go down to the daily time frame just to sort of reiterate if I'm correct in that. And I think we could probably say an overall buy starts here. So we could definitely argue this entire region alone does act as an unmitigated region. So what it would be nice to see is price actually reversing at this point. Now, in order for us to have full confirmation of that, I would like to see the break of this low. Obviously like a displacement or a change of character or break of structure, whatever you want to call it. I would like to see that take place at this level because obviously trading up into this zone, this is currently a protected low, which is holding and safeguarding the bullishness that is trading price up. So a penetration of this low would obviously indicate that price is ready to mark down. Now, don't get me wrong, we could sort of preempt the move and say, you know, we believe price will continue lower given the analysis. And we could start looking to edge in on sells. We just don't have full confirmation that a longer term reversal has taken place. And therefore, there isn't as much probability in our favor. Nonetheless, let's say under the assumption price has tapped into this, it's going to reverse. I would place an alert at this break of structure. So I'm aware when price does break below this, we have more additional confirmation of a move lower. But at the same time, I could be going to the 4 hour and saying, right, well, I can quite clearly see that in the scheme of this move lower, we've recently had some breaks to the upside. Why? Because we've had a higher high created and a higher low. So that is obviously the initial evidence of bullishness starting to prevail. Now, again, if we're working under the assumption that price does want to come and break the structure and move lower, I would then be making the assumption that this bullishness moving upwards has the purpose of mitigating one of these zones before reversing and taking that move lower. So if we sort of zoom in on what's gone on here, you know, if we identify some zones that are really sticking out, to me this zone sticks out quite a lot. And let's shorten this so it doesn't overlap. We have a zone there. I mean, we could even go to like something like an 8 hour to really help us within this analysis. We can even see this overall buy to sell is also mitigated. This overall buy to sell, that's been mitigated there. Again, the best way to do this is find where the buy starts, for example, at that level, and we see prices penetrate past it. So that, in my eyes, would class as being mitigated. This overall buy to sell mitigated, this one unmitigated, so on and so forth. So this definitely looks like a zone that could get mitigated, and you know, we could see price reverse from that. Going back down, let's just reanalyze what's going on in here. Cool, yeah. I like the idea of this being a zone, definitely. I might even have to bring this alert a little bit lower, just to that point. And then if we continue following price, yeah, that's been mitigated. We could then even argue that there is a little zone just inside of here that we could potentially see get mitigated as well. So if we pull that across, we'll also place an alert there. Add alert with the expectation that we could see price come and tap into one of these before making that reversal, before then coming lower to break structure. And that's working under the bias, again, that was created from the higher time frames. The price needs to come back down to mitigate this zone. Therefore, we're seeing this as bearishness to bring us down into it. Following that bearishness, we've recently had a tap into this zone where we've seen a potential reversal. We'd need the break of structure to fully confirm the reversal. But nonetheless, we can preempt that and say that price could actually mitigate one of these before making the move lower. So as of right now, I'm more likely looking to sell into this market because of that longer term bias. However, we still need that extra confirmation. So if price does tap into one of these zones and I get that alert set, there's 3 things I'm going to need to see once price taps into one of these zones. I'll draw an example. So let's say price from here, we start trading up and we see it approach this level and we see something like this happen. What are the 3 things we've seen? Well, number 1, we've seen that liquidity has been built. Okay. liquidity has been built. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that as we've approached the zone, we've had multiple taps around the same region. We've had a lot of equal highs created at a point, which means a lot of traders are going to be looking to get involved in positions and use that level of equal highs as a correlation to their stop loss. This means liquidity is being built at the region. Now, the second thing we want to see is liquidity getting cleared. So cleared, oh, I've somehow added caps to that. Let's just say clearance of liquidity. Okay, now how are we going to see that? We've seen that perfectly in this move here, where we've had price push through this level of liquidity. We've cleared the liquidity. What that means is that institutions are becoming active because they're trying to manipulate people into losses. They're trying to take control of the liquidity for themselves. And then finally, we need a BOS, more commonly known as a break of structure, which we've seen because at this point, this would be seen as a protected low. We've penetrated through that, therefore given a break of structure. And then we know we have confirmation of a reversal and confirmation that we can get involved in a position. So that's all I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for one of these alerts to be pinged. When they do, I'm going down to the lower time frames to find my 3 steps of confirmation, which I always need before placing a position. I need to see liquidity built, liquidity cleared, and a break of structure, which we see we've had 1, liquidity built, 2, liquidity cleared, 3, break of structure after that level. So that is ideally how I would look to get involved in a position. So keep your eyes out on that market. Look how I've analyzed it. Look where I've put my alerts. And obviously, let's see how that plays out in the coming weeks. The good thing about trading is that, you know, it's actually quite unlikely that we're right when we do our analysis. But the beauty of it is that we need to be prepared for, regardless of what happens, we know how to tackle it. So we have endless possibilities. Price could come into here, reverse, go lower. Price could blow through that, reverse here, go lower. You know, there's so many different possibilities, but we just need to be prepared for any one of those that comes our way and have clear entry confirmation that makes sure that the I guess probability is forever in our favor. So yeah, that is my full top down on Euro USD. If you've enjoyed seeing me back doing my analysis on the markets, the way I walk through things, make sure to actually leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll try to actually get back involved with these longer term to provide some analysis. But nonetheless, hope we all have a great trading week. Hope we're all enjoying the weather for those in the UK, because it's gorgeous this weekend. We're looking at like 28, 29 degrees, so I am pretty tanned right now. Nonetheless, obviously, hopefully you guys all enjoyed. Make sure to smash it out the park this week. We're going to have a big one in terms of trading, and we'll obviously see you next time in the next Sunday session. So take care, everyone.